Всем привет, вы на канале Зика. Продолжаем играть Broken Sword 5. Проклятие змея. Остановились мы на вот этом моменте. Ну что, поехали?
I wouldn't have been able to break the chain or the padlock. The chain was wrapped around the gate and secured with a tough-looking padlock. The door was locked. Looking through the window, I could see that there was nothing in the van. Hobbs must have taken the portfolio inside. I decided to leave the handbrake alone.
Пока не будем сигналить. Мусор, везде мусорка, свалка.
Piles of junk, mostly boxes of old paints and scraps of picture frames. Mixed in were wires, cardboard, and some dubious-looking old clothes. George Stobart.
Ah, Monsieur Stobart. I trust you have obeyed my instructions not to leave Paris.
Of course, Inspector.
Good. You clearly know which side your cookie is buttered. Now, I require your presence tomorrow at the murder scene for a reconstruction.
I see.
12 o'clock sharp, monsieur. Or, as you would say, high noon.
Sure.
Any failure to comply, and I shall have you extraordinarily rendered. Have a nice day now.
And you. That was Nave. We're required back at the gallery tomorrow for a crime scene reconstruction.
Let me guess. Non-attendance is a criminal offense?
You got it. The large dumpster was full of garbage. Climbing drain pipes was something I preferred to avoid, unless I had a great reason to do so. It was Hobbs's mailbox. There was a note hanging out. For a second, I debated the morality of mail snooping. It was a short debate, and I won.
Так, и что в этом письме?
I decided to open the letter. Dear Mr. Hobbs, due to previous incidents, we are writing to inform you that we will no longer be sending models to your address. It went on to discuss Hobbs's temper and other alleged infractions, some of which still carry the death sentence in certain less sophisticated cultures. Interesting. This could come in useful. The letter advised Mr. Hobbs that no more models would be sent to his. I don't think there's anyone home.
There's a light on upstairs.
Давайте теперь посигналим. Попробуем.
Not a sound. The horn wasn't working. I decided the horn wasn't. I popped open the van's hood. The engine was held together by rust and dirt. Everything was covered in a sticky film of dirty black oil. Half the wiring wasn't connected to anything. It was clear why the horn hadn't made a noise. Neither hornpipe was connected to either the battery or the cab. It was the van battery. I needed to hook this up to the horn somehow. It was the van's engine. I didn't really have any reason to sabotage it. It was one of two horns in the van. It didn't seem to be connected to anything else under the hood. Two wires hung loose from it. It was one of two horns in the van. It didn't seem to be connected to anything else under the hood. Two wires hung loose from it. A loose wire hung from the horn. If I had some spare cable, I could connect it to the other horn. A bundle of short, severed wires was connected to the battery. None of the wires were connected to anything. A bundle of wires came into the engine bay from the dashboard. Many of the wires seemed to lead nowhere. A loose wire hung from the right-hand horn. A bundle of wire. That would be pointless. That wouldn't work. That wasn't worth trying. A bundle of short, severed wires was...
Так, типа провода надо найти. Ну-ка. В мусоре покопаемся еще раз.
I had found just what I needed. Two lengths of wire.
О, отлично. Давайте капотик. Сейчас-то, я думаю, у нас выйдет.
The engine bay was up. I used the wire to join the battery to the horn.
Так, и как бы...
A bundle of It was the van.
Ну, давайте сейчас попробуем.
The horn wasn't working. I'd need the keys to start the engine. I had no reason nor any desire to steal Hobbs's van. If only I'd hung out with the cool kids at school, I'd have learned how to hotwire a truck.
Так, а где у нас во Франции виски? А.
Slosha!
Полная бутылка виски, что ли? Ничего себе. Так это хорошо. Можно подарить кому-нибудь. На крайний случай выпить самим. Так, где-то ж они должны прятать ключ. Мы ж не умеем взламывать.
The horn.
Да, они все равно не
I
работают.
decided.
Все.
Whiskey. Whew, very strong stuff. The van's hood. I'd need the keys to start the engine. I had no reason nor any desire to steal Hobbs's van.
Да. А ключ-то у него, наверное. Скорее всего. Монеткой попробуем.
Nope, I needed to try something
Nope.
else.
Для чего нам виски? Может, подлить кому-то? Их можем,
I
кстати,
used the wa-
взять. На...
I connected the...
Ты понимаешь, что еще нужен провод? Пучок. Что-то нам должно же это дать?
That wasn't... That wouldn't make any sense. A bundle of short, severed wires was connected to the battery.
Да.
I used the...
Поищем еще. Может, и найдем что-нибудь.
A pile of...
М?
There was nothing else of interest in the junk. There was no... The large dumpster...
Ничего. А может, кстати, цепь пригодится как-нибудь.
I thought about trying to pick the lock with a paperclip, but that really only works in the movies.
Так, а
Вика?
что думает Нико? Насчет этого, она же
What's up?
вроде и ломала
The lights
всякие
are on, but
вещи.
nobody's answering.
Maybe they can't hear you knocking. We could try some other way of attracting their attention.
Это понятно. Бутылка виски, в принципе, могли привлечь внимание. Просто разлить у двери. Он бы сам прибежал бы с радостью. Так, в окне, как будто что-то залипло, что ли.
The door was locked. Looking through the window, I could see that there was nothing in the van. Hobbs must have taken the portfolio inside.
Так, для чего нам водосток, кстати?
Climbing drain pipes was something I preferred to avoid. The drain pipe was more rust than iron. There was definitely someone home.
Да.
The horn. The van's...
Да, 3 активные точки и все. В принципе, больше ничего. Ну вот, 4-е
I need the
зажигание.
keys. I had no reason. That was never gonna work.
Плохая идея.
If only I'd hung out with the cool kids at school, I'd have learned how to hotwire a truck.
Да у нас ничего такого и нету. Да, в машину лезть пока рано. Так, окно. Мусор, помойка. Что, попробуем еще с капотом похимичить?
It was the van battery.
Но чтобы его завести, нужно... Хотя, может, чуть-чуть посмотреть, может, тут что-нибудь и спрятано. Провод возьмем.
That's so... Well, it seemed like a good idea. That... It didn't work.
Чем нам
That
виски,
would be
мотор?
I needed a better... That would be pointless. It was the van's engine. It was the van battery. A bundle of short, severed wires was connected to the battery. A bundle of wires came into the engine bay from the dashboard. I connected the wires from the cab to the horn.
На приборную панель выходит. То есть как бы, чтобы подключиться. Тут тоже провод нужен. И третий провод, которого у нас нету.
That was... It was the...
Так, ну я думаю, как-то цепь может пригодилась бы.
I wouldn't have been able to break the chain. Or the padlock.
У нас такого и нету, можно поискать еще активную точку. Так, а он никуда не уйдет отсюда, видимо, да?
The mailbox... The mailbox... The large dump...
Ну найди еще проводок, прошу тебя.
There was nothing else of interest. A pile of paint, wire, and other junk. A pile of paint, wire, and other junk.
Куча красок, проводов,
There was
берег
nothing-
провода.
There was no... There was nothing... There... That wouldn't have worked. That wasn't worth... Fancy a drop, Nico?
Ah, George, have you ever known me to drink whiskey?
This paperclip is bound to come in useful. I just know it.
Well, you've surprised me before, George. I'd keep it.
Picking the lock wasn't an option. Not a snowball's. That wouldn't.
Так, ну все, я не знаю, что делать. Я знаю, что надо привлечь внимание, я знаю, что надо починить машину. Я догадываюсь, что можно как-то каким-то путем эту цепь достать.
I
Допустим,
wouldn't have been able to
присоединить
break the
к
chain
машине
or the padlock.
при помощи, ну, починить машину, у нее гудок сигнальный. Потом при помощи гудка привлечь внимание его и, в принципе, ну, попробуем. Нет, это голливудские фильмы, скажет, не получится.
I thought the nail clippers would.
Тоже не пойдет.
Nope.
Возможно, где-то, может, и гвоздь лежит какой-нибудь в доске. Так, что, это подсказки у нас, достижения, сохранение. Так, ну. Контакты.
Nico had suggested that we needed to attract Hobbs's attention somehow. Nico had suggested that we needed to attract Hobbs's attention somehow.
Да, внимание.
Nico seemed up, and wow, she was looking great.
Вот, как раз внимание привлекай. Мы постоим, покурим. Черт, что же делать? Помойку ты не хочешь, мусор тоже не хочешь.
There was nothing else of interest in the junk.
Тут тоже ничего. Взаимодействуем с проводами. Никак.
That wouldn't have worked. They didn't go together.
Попробуем что-нибудь с цепью сделать. проводами.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Че он сказал?
That
Really?
wouldn't have worked. That was almost a great idea. Almost. I needed... The van's...
Да, нет, всё то же самое. Блин, капот. В капоте. Я думаю, все в капоте.
It was the... That would be pointless. That was... I used the...
Но тем не менее, у нас подключен к аккумулятору один гудок.
I connected the wire.
Вот так вот. Но нам нужно еще посередине.
It was the... That wasn't worth trying.
Аккумулятор, как тебя завести?
It was the... It was the... It was the van's engine. It was the van battery. A bundle of short, severed wires was connected to the battery. A loose wire hung from the horn. A loose wire hung from the horn. A loose wire hung from the horn. A bundle of wires came into the engine bay from the dashboard. A bundle of... I hope this...
Оба!
I connected the wires from the... That wire wasn't long enough to reach between the...
А теперь... Ну да,
I'd
он
already
ч-
cut...
Подожди.
I'd already cut one wire in half.
А, ну все, теперь понятно. Фу, я уж испугался, что
That wire...
надо будет к подсказкам лезть. Так, давай вот этот.
The wire was just long enough to connect the battery to the horn. Everything was wired up. The horn had power.
Все на месте, сигнал работает.
I figured that should get Hobbs' attention.
All right, hold your blooming horses. What are you up to with my van?
Hello there. We fixed your horn.
So I hear. Now what are you doing in my yard?
Sorry to bother you again, Mr. Hobbs, but... Well, that could have gone.
He's not exactly the friendliest of characters.
I decided to give it another blast.
For crying out loud, will you leave my van alone?
Sorry, just need a quick word, Mr. Hello there. We'd like to discuss some restoration work with you.
Then make an appointment. I'm busy.
Вот урод.
This Hobbs guy doesn't exactly like visitors.
There must be some angle we can use to talk our way inside.
Я понял. Так. Бутылку виски, которую он знает, что это его виски. Попробуем еще раз.
I decided...
Предложим ему виски.
You two again? What is it this time?
I was sure he didn't want to see it. Afternoon, Mr. Hobbs. We're from the model agency.
About blooming time. I'm on a deadline. You better come up. About time you two showed up.
Hello, Mr. Hobbs. I was just wondering if...
Can it, Goldilocks? I don't have time for chit-chat. Just get undressed behind that screen.
Undressed?
That was the deal. An extra 20 quid because I need you with your kit off.
The studio was freezing.
And as for you, darling, no need to get undressed. I've got a vivid imagination, so I'll just use that. Either way, just go sit over there on that rug and give me your best Belle Epoque floozy. That's perfect. Just hold it there.
Nico made for a good distraction. I just needed to figure out how to get a look inside that portfolio. It didn't seem quite right.
Табуреточка.
I didn't need to sit. It was time for action.
Щиток. Выход.
Hey, I'm still drinking that.
How about a top-up, Mr. Hobbs?
Thanks, but I've already got a glassful.
I wasn't going to mess around with that wiring.
Hey! Leave that dial alone. The heating gobbles up all the power and the circuits can't take it.
Sorry. I turned the thermostat down again. Wow, an old Bofson Wang stereo. I hadn't seen one of those for years. Hobbs seemed to have a thing for 70s psychedelic jams. Burroughs, Dick, Rand. Hobbs liked his literature heavy and paranoid. The record... I turned the volume up a few notches.
Так, может он даже теперь не услышит.
told.
On the road, cruising down a highway. So sweet, she got my head in a spin. Listen back till you think you're going my way. Stop the car, I wanna get in. She got right through my skin. I looked so deep away.
It was locked. I wondered what was behind the door.
So cool, you're thrilling.
That wouldn't have worked.
One minute she's sweet as a light. Next moment she's a fire and fight. Got me wondering, is it day or night?
I didn't want to play around with the negligee. Those days are long gone. But I wondered who it did belong to.
So deep away. Okay, I lose, you win. So cool, thrilling.
My, if it isn't George Stobart.
О,
Lady Piermont! Oh my! You're...
Naked? Of course. As an artist's muse, one often finds oneself en pelotas. Now, George, don't be shy. Come here and give me a big hug.
That day was the day the nightmares had begun. Trapped, smothered, choking on the avenue.
George, darling, pass me my robe. It's terribly cold in here.
Oi, what are you doing with a blooming robe on? God help me, but you're supposed to be naked. I've got a deadline to meet.
Well, you won't be meeting any deadlines with manners like that. And besides, it's freezing in here.
Lady Piermont and I had met before. She was larger than life, in every way.
это случайно не та женщина, которая в отеле Угу или Югу, Угу вроде была. Очень похожа, кстати. Ну что, мы теперь уже, наверное, видели все. Что нам может
Lady
подсказать?
Oh, George, dear darling, and sort the heating out in here.
I'll see what I can do.
С чем?
George, sweetheart, could you do something about this?
Отопление? Ну, посмотрим, что можно сделать.
Hey! I've told you, don't mess.
Sorry, but Lady Piermont is cold. I thought...
Look, pal, I know it's brass monkeys in here, but the wiring in this building is ancient, and the fuse box won't take it. Her Majesty will just have to get used to chapel hat pegs.
Lady Piermont, Mr. Hobbs won't let me turn up the heating.
Well, we'll soon see about that.
Oh, crumbs.
If you do not adjust the heating, I shall refuse to cooperate.
Lady Piermont, it's the circuits. They won't take the strain. You know what old buildings are like.
In which case, I see no reason for this session to continue.
Whoa, Lady Piermont, let's not be too hasty. I'm sure I can accommodate your needs.
Good. Perhaps you can start by letting George here turn up the heating.
Oh, go ahead then, but be careful. The power in here is temperamental.
Все.
I'd turned the thermostat up as far as it would go.
Нету.
I wondered if the suspicious wiring could be used to my advantage.
Так, ну да. Бокал виски Пустой, надо налить.
How about another whiskey?
Don't mind if I do.
I wasn't going to mess around with that wiring.
Так, теперь с ней можно поговорить.
A word, if I may, Lady Piermont.
For you, George, I'm all ears. How can I help?
Can you keep a secret, Lady Piermont?
I am the very soul of discretion, as you know.
You see that portfolio by Hobbs's table? We need to take a peek inside.
Be still, my beating heart. Just give me the nod and I'm putty in your hands.
Do you know anything about a stolen painting called La Malediction?
Oh, is this another of your adventures, George? How delicious. My heart's a tremor, George. Do you think Wilf is mixed up with this?
Maybe, but I need you to act normally until we're sure.
Mum's the word, Georgie.
How did you come to be working with Mr. Hobbs?
Wheresoever a bohemian needs a helping hand, George, mine is always at the ready. And what better way to help than to expose one's flesh to the sensuous brushstrokes of such a talent?
So what have you been up to since our last encounter, Lady Piermont?
Charity work, dear boy.
Oh, any particular kind?
Young men, George. So many have lost their way. I try to guide them best I can.
Would you like a sniff of this?
I'd rather not. Gives me 70s flashbacks.
How about a shot of this, Lady Piermont?
Oh, no, dear. I don't touch the stuff. Reminds me of husband number 5. Or was it 6? Terrible bore, anyway. I'm strictly a gin girl. Ice and a slice and a whiff of tonic.
Piermont wouldn't be interested. What do you think of this, Lady Piermont?
Not much, Georgie. Not much.
Could I tempt
Pachinko?
you with a cookie, Lady Piermont?
You could tempt me with many things, George. But a half-eaten rich tea is not one of them.
Жесть. Коробка с
What do you
тараканом.
think of this, Lady Piermont?
Not much, Georgie. Not much.
That's all for now.
Так,
A
давайте,
word if I may.
что она там?
For you,
We're still trying to figure out a way to distract Hobbs and take a look in that portfolio. That's all for now.
В принципе, она нам поможет портфолио взять. Туда нельзя попасть. Кнопка лифта, кстати. Это лифт. А, не, вот.
Oh, you! Get down from there. You'll trip the power in the whole building if you're not careful.
Blowing the power would certainly have distracted Hobbs, but the elevator alone wasn't going to trip the whole system.
У нас же еще есть Нико.
A word, if I may, Lady Piermont.
For you, George.
Lady Piermont, we need your help.
How thrilling. What do you need? Subterfuge? Legerdemain?
Actually, I just need you to step on that lift behind you.
Oh, but of course. Is this good, George, darling?
Perfect. Now, just stay right there.
Теперь кнопка лифта. Пробки, пробки. О,
Oh, not again.
тихо, тихо. Блин. Живая водичка. О! Что-то все. Чересчур уж. Так, ну-ка. А что? О, его покачивает. Мы сейчас его убьем. Ха-ха.
So sweet, she got my head in a spin. Listen back, do you think it's going my way?
An empty click, then nothing. The elevator was going nowhere without power.
О. Что он там? Он уже... А, не. Класс.
I was
Ну-ка,
too late
ну-ка.
to catch a look at the portfolio.
Надо еще налить.
How about another whiskey?
Cruising down a highway.
That's smashing. Far away.
She got my head in a spin. Listen back, do you think it's going my way? Stop the car, I wanna get in. She got right through my skin. I looked so deep away in. Okay, I lose you in. She's so cool, you're adrenaline. One minute she's sweet as a light.
Now was my chance. It was one of Hobbes' sketches.
Так, ну чё, все что ли? А?
More of Hobbes' sketches. The model looked familiar. Impressionist sketches. Well, it wasn't a
Что это?
Metallicio, but it did appear to be a study for an element of the painting, the Ouroboros. There was something different about the image in the center. I figured the sketch might come in handy, so I took it.
What the heck? I told you that portfolio was private.
Huh?
Well, that was fun. Just like when you were a private dick, George.
So, you're not models?
No, Mr. Hobbs.
Well, you can't be a copper. You're not stupid enough. So what the blazes are you doing in my studio?
We're investigating the theft of a painting, La Malediccio, by the Spanish artist El Serp. One of these sketches is a study of that painting.
Well, sure, but what's that got to do with that? I'm a restorer, and I restored it. I've got naught to do with what happened after that painting left this studio. How was I to know it was going to get Henri killed?
Hang on a second. How do you know Henri's dead?
Look, he and I went back a long way. Le Lézard Bleu was on the ropes, so I got the painting into his exhibition. Nothing like this was supposed to happen.
But something did happen, Hobbs. Your friend lost his life.
Look, I'll help you however I can, but this mess is way above my pay grade. What do you want to know?
Так, да, Медовский.
We have reason to believe that Medovsky is mixed up in the theft of La Malediccio.
Eh? What would he gain from stealing his own painting?
We have strong evidence that Medovsky is not the real owner.
You'll have a hard time proving that. Medovsky has a full set of provenances for the painting. It traces its legitimate ownership all the way back to the painter.
Why didn't Medovsky mention him?
Because they're not with him. Henri's got them. Or had them.
And Henri is dead.
So ask his partner.
Lane?
Lane, yeah, Lane. Look, pal, you're wasting your time looking for conspiracies here. And you're wasting my time if you're not actually going to get naked. Go get the provenance from Lane, and everything will turn out hunky-dory.
But it also puts Marquez's story into question.
Not my problem, darling. Now both of you, get lost. I've got a painting to finish.
And we have a critic to interrogate.
Someone's lying, but who?
Is it the gangster or the old Spaniard?
The painter or the art critic?
I need to head back for Nave's reconstruction.
What about the evidence from Medovsky's house? Will you give it to Nave?
I think I should. And I can put the squeeze on Lane. Ask him about the provenance.
Good. I've got lunch with Ronnie tomorrow. This story is hotting up, and I want to make sure he keeps me on it.
Taxi?
Так, квартира Бижу, квартира Нико, галерея. Веру секьюрити, не думаю, что надо. Галерея, галерея. Нам же там надо встретиться с комиссаром.
Here I was again at the crime scene. Inside the gallery, I could see lots of activity. Nave preparing for the reconstruction, no doubt. Nico and I had a good idea who the killer was. Now all we had to do was persuade Nave.
Sir, I already tried starting it up. I think it's broken.
Nonsense, Moo. This machine has the power of 10 investigators.
But investigators never fail to start up, sir.
Your pessimism is duly noted, Moo. But have faith. This machine will analyze the scene, compute the data, and deduce everything for us. The location of the second shooter will be a mystery no more. One moment.
A marvel indeed, sir, though at the moment it is kaput.
Your pessimism has obviously infected the circuitry, Moo. Let me think for a moment.
If I could just...
Shh. Eh bien, Moo, now try realigning the laser matrix.
Sir, I have no idea what that is.
Move over, Moo. Now, let me see. Oscillating reverberator? Check. Refraction spectrometer? Check. Now, what can I do? Ah, Monsieur Stobart, it's only you. Glad you could finally make it.
Inspector, I've got some good news and some bad news.
Oh, yes? I shall be the judge of that.
I think I know who the killer is.
Really?
Yep, he's a gardener called Shears living in London.
Fascinating. And the good news?
We don't need to do your reconstruction.
You joke with me, Monsieur Stobart.
It's not a joke. This guy Shears was working for a Russian ex-mobster. It's all part of a highly complex fraud.
Gardeners, KGB, fraud. You are a fantasist, monsieur. And I have no time for fantasy. Reality is my suitcase, as you Americans say. Now, stand over there and keep out of trouble until the others arrive.
Well, who are we waiting for?
Mademoiselle Collard and Father Simeon. Please, I am very busy. Ah, Moo, a clever choice. But no cigar for you. Try the red.
Mon Dieu!
Ага. Они с этой хренью еще будут долго мудачиться.
Monsieur Stobart, please remain within the main gallery.
If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get Nave even more worked up. I decided to bide my time and wait for the right moment. If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get Nave even more worked up. I decided to bide my time and wait for the right moment. That was where
Так, можно пока с этим побазарить о чем-нибудь.
Lane.
Stobart.
What's the deal with that device over there?
It's a farce. They've been trying to get it working for hours.
Looks like something out of a 50s sci-fi movie.
It probably is.
What do you think of Nave?
The man is a buffoon. I have better things to do than wait for these idiots to get their forensic whatnot to work. The only silver lining is that Nave seems more annoyed than I am.
What do you think of Moo?
Who?
The policeman with Nave.
I assume he's another idiot.
Why's that?
I believe one can tell a man by the company he keeps.
I'll bear that in mind, Mr. Lane. I gather you're the man to ask about the provenance for the painting.
For La Maledictio? Well, you have been busy, haven't you, Stobart?
I'd like to see it.
So speak to Bijou. She took care of the business side of the gallery. The provenance is in the office safe. She has the key.
Lane was a pushover when you had him cornered. Though it looked like Bijou hadn't been completely honest with me after all. I needed to pay her another visit. Okay, thanks.
Yes, yes.
Sir, I think we are ready to fire her up.
Yes, Moo, I was just about to say the same thing. Do it. Moo, what have you done?
Pardon me, sir, but I believe it was you who said,
This is no time for blame. You have broken the machine.
Mon Dieu.
О, боже.
It was pointless trying to get a closer look at the machine while Navet and Moo were tinkering with it. Excuse me.
Они заняты, наверное, будут.
Please, monsieur.
Угу. А этот тоже?
Inspector Navet, may I ask you some questions?
You must wait, monsieur. I am extremely...
Sure, it can wait.
Я так и думал, блин, заняты. Выйти-то хоть могу?
Stupid.
Monsieur Stobart, you will not leave until this is over.
But I just need to...
This is a reconstruction. You will remain here until I have concluded my investigations. Do I make myself clear?
Okay, clear. I considered making a run for it, but forcing Moo to chase me would have been cruel. And it would have been silly to risk my investigation. Better to play along with Navet and get the reconstruction over as quickly as possible.
Они заняты.
If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get... I decided...
Что же еще можно сделать? Дверь тоже не пускает. Да что вообще тут делать, блин? Бегать туда-сюда,
Can I ask you something?
ждать их.
If you must.
Changed your opinion of Moo yet?
Who?
Moo.
Who?
Never mind. Is Navet a good detective, do you think?
He's as good a detective as I am a dancer.
You light on your feet, Lane?
Do I look like I am?
Is there anything else you're not telling me, Mr. Lane?
Get lost.
What does it do?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, yes.
Картины. Постер,
The
кстати.
poster looked old. I didn't need to touch it.
Картины поразглядывать.
70 grand? Cheap at half the price.
Опять.
The bust stared haughtily at me. I wondered who it was modeled on. Just 90,000 for this one. A rare glimpse into the absinthe-addled mind of the artist. A snip at only 80 grand. The label said it was painted in 1932. The gallery wanted 80 grand for it. The tag said 60,000 for a sketch? Ouch! Challenging and experimental, like the 85K price tag. That was where La Malediccio used to hang. The gap
Эти заняты с этим, уже побазарить неохота, ничего. Бутылку виски приложить. Дорогой
I had to hurry
дружище.
up and get out of there. Not what
Не хочешь. Ну,
Hobbs had sketched the Ouroboros from La Malediccio, but I didn't remember seeing that face. The Ouroboros was definitely a copy of the one from La Malediccio, but in its center was a face, while the painting in the gallery had shown a tree. Hobbs had either taken some license with the sketch, or he'd found something hidden in the painting. The Ouroboros was definitely a copy of the one from La Malediccio, but in its center was a face, while the painting in the gallery had shown a tree. The sketch was stained with coffee rings. That wasn't worth trying.
Так, попробуем еще раз в дверь зайти. Но они заняты, в принципе.
It was better not to try to enter the office again. That was never gonna... Nave's machine was plugged in. Nave's machine was plugged. If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get Nave even more worked up. I decided to bide my time and wait for the right moment. The bust stared haughtily at me. It was Inspector Nave. It was Sergeant Moo. He looked flustered, probably because he was being shouted at. It was a strange-looking machine. It was Hector Lane. I couldn't decide if he was amused or angry. Can I ask you something else?
If you must.
What does it do?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Changed your opinion of Moo yet?
Who?
Moo.
Who?
Never mind. Anything else you can tell me about Nave?
The man is an idiot.
Is there anything else you're not telling me, Mr. Lane?
Get lost.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, yes.
I had to hurry up. I didn't want to...
Так, может, Нико позвоним, если не можем оттуда выходить. Ну чё? Нико. А ему можем. Странно.
Hello, Mr. Rickenbacker?
You better have some good news, Stobart.
I absolutely do.
Go on then, impress me.
I went to visit Medovsky, the owner of the painting, and Vera Security.
Go on.
I found some paperwork that proves Medovsky stole his own painting.
Great work. But we're gonna need more. You have to find the painting.
The artist restoring the painting claims there's a provenance that proves Medovsky is the owner.
Why do I sense some doubt here?
Take one guess who signed off on it.
I give up.
Hector Lane, the art critic responsible for the exhibition.
Oh, this gets better and better. Go and speak to Lane. Get a look-see at that provenance yourself.
I spoke with Lane. He says the provenance for the painting is in the gallery safe.
Good work, Stobart.
Apparently, Bijou has the key, though when I talked to her earlier, she said she wasn't involved with the gallery.
You need to take a look at that provenance.
I'm gonna go find out why she lied.
Get round there, Stobart. See if you can get the key to the safe, too.
Vera Security. I didn't need to...
Так, Нико, почему мы тебе не можем позвонить? Странновато. Может, ты как-то таракана
That was
отвлекет?
never gonna happen. I was going to talk about that, but then I remembered I had a lot to do. It was better not to try to enter the office again. That wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't work. That was never going to work.
Так, ну надо как-то себя отвлечь. Я даже не знаю, как это сделать. Сигнализацию проверили. Ну, в картины, в принципе, картин. Зачем на них смотреть?
For the Can I ask you?
If you must.
Is there anything else? Changed your...
Что?
Moo.
Что?
Never mind. What does it do?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
постер, постер, постер. Что же с ним можно сделать?
That wasn't worth trying. The poster looked old. I didn't need to touch it. The poster looked old. I didn't need to touch it. That was...
А чё, почему с постером-то взаимодействие есть какое-то? Поджечь
That
постер.
was never gonna happen. That was never... The poster looked old. I didn't need to touch it. I wasn't going to bother Rickenbacker until I had the provenance in my hands. I was going to... It was pointless trying to get a closer look at the machine while Navet and Moo were tinkering with it.
Monsieur Stobart, please, can you stop trying to leave?
I guess that told me. That wouldn't... That... I didn't want to... I didn't want... I fed Trevor a crumb. He loved that biscuit. The bust stared haughtily at me. I wondered who it was modeled on.
Удачный момент. Да, они заняты, в принципе. Может, что-то предложить нашему? Ну-ка.
I didn't want... I had to hurry up and get out of there, not waste time discussing everything I didn't want to wait. I didn't want... I didn't want... I didn't...
Да. Ничего, никого. Никого вообще недоступно.
The security camera still kept a vigil over the gallery. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't make any sense. That would be point. That was almost a great idea.
Почти.
Nope. If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get Nave even more worked up. I decided to bide my time and wait for the right moment. If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get Nave even more worked up. I decided to buy... If I pulled the plug out, I'd just get Nave even more worked up. I decided to bide my time and wait for the right moment. That was where La Malediccio used. That was never going to happen. Hobbs's sketch was unsettling. The Ouroboros was definitely a copy of the one from La Malediccio, but in its center was a face, while the painting in the gallery had shown a tree. The Ouroboros, but in its center was a face, while the painting in the gallery had shown a tree. The Ouroboros, but in its center was a face, while the painting in the gallery had shown a tree. Excuse me.
Not now.
That would be pointless. Inspector...
О!
What seems to be the problem?
Monsieur Stobart, if Paris' finest cannot get this very expensive and very complex machine to work, then I doubt if an insurance salesman can...
I'm an insurance assessor, actually.
Oh, I see. Well, la-di-da to you, monsieur.
Oh, yeah? Well, la-di-da to you back.
Whatever. You are neither qualified nor clever enough to operate such an instrument.
Like us.
What was that, Moo?
I said, unlike us, sir.
Have you been a detective long?
Long enough, monsieur?
You've solved a lot of crimes, I guess.
More than you have had hot dinners?
Well, I've had a lot of hot dinners, Inspector.
Oh, yes? How many?
What?
Precisely how many hot dinners have you had, monsieur?
I don't know. Thousands?
You prove my point for me, monsieur. Precision and accuracy are everything.
You truly are a unique and amazing man, Inspector Nave.
Well, I'm glad you are impressed.
Так и все.
I was sure I could get the machine to work if I could just get Nave out of the way. I didn't want to waste time talking about everything in my pockets. Inspector Nave. You must be the top dog around here.
Yes, I am the top dog.
How about Top Banana? You the top banana too?
Kindly cease your babble, and let me concentrate.
Just asking.
Monsieur Stobart, if you continue...
I decided to... Maybe if I just have a quick look? Perhaps you just can't see the wood for the trees.
How ridiculous! Everybody knows trees are made out of wood.
I mean, you might just not be able to see what is obvious.
What is obvious, Monsieur Stobart, is that I am not stupid.
Nor are you made of wood, Inspector.
Exactly. Now, please leave this to the experts.
Excuse me.
Not now.
Can I ask you something else?
If you must.
Anything else you can tell me about?
The man...
Ну ты же
Changed your opinion of Moo
тоже
yet?
хочешь отсюда быстрее уйти.
Who?
Могу
Moo.
что-нибудь предложить там.
Who?
Отвлечь его.
Never mind.
О, господи.
Is there?
Kettle.
What does it do?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
Так скажем, типа, такой он в розетку не
Inspector
подключен.
Nave. I know this sounds obvious, but are you sure it's plugged in?
Monsieur Stobart, do you really think I would be so stupid as to not check the fundamentals?
We all make mistakes.
What a ridiculous generalization, monsieur. Look, I can see from here it's... Ah.
Do you need assistance, sir? Very funny, Moo.
One moment.
That got rid of him. Now is my chance.
Давай, давай, давай.
I was going to have to figure that out quickly. Time to get the show on the road.
See, Moo? I knew I would get it working.
I'm not sure that you...
Precisely. You knew my superior intellect would win through in the end.
Yes, sir. Sir, I beg your pardon, but I think there is a teeny snag.
Go on.
We have no victim.
Good God, Moo. Are you suggesting I kill someone for the sake of this reenactment?
No, sir. Just saying we need a body, sir.
Ah, yes. I see. You'll make a detective yet, Moo. I, of course, foresaw this, and I nominate... you.
Me? Well, I'm not dead.
Have you ever acted, Monsieur Stobart?
Well, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but I went down a storm playing the lead in Cat on a Felt-Tip Roof last summer.
Oh. You played the cat?
No.
So, not the lead. Half-truths again, monsieur. Nevertheless, here is your chance to play a real lead role.
But he looks nothing like the victim, sir.
Oh, damn it, Moo. Must you find problems all the time? Let me think of a way to make this work.
Relying on Nave's problem-solving skills could mean a long, long wait. I had to find something to make me more like Henri. I'll have a look around. Maybe I'll find something.
Yes, you do that. Verisimilitude is the key, Stobart.
О, и Нико пришла.
Ah, you have arrived at last. Please, make yourselves comfortable. We are just making some last-minute adjustments.
Father Simeon, Nico.
Hi, Josh.
Welcome to the asylum.
Let me guess. Nave is overjoyed we've solved the case and he's putting us up for an award.
Not quite. I told him about Shears and Medovsky. He says it's fantasy.
But that's crazy.
Tell me about it.
So what do we do now?
Carry on anyway, and nail Medovsky.
What about Nave?
Ignore him.
And this charade?
The reconstruction? Well, sooner it starts, sooner it's over.
Josh, what on earth is that machine?
It's Nave's baby. Supposedly, it's going to analyze the crime scene and tell us what happened.
But we already know what happened.
Sure we do. But Nave doesn't.
Quiet, please! How can I concentrate with all this racket going on?
Lane was right. Nave was an idiot.
Да. Опять он что-то химит сейчас. Опять спартанет систему.
Hey, Nico, what's new?
Not much.
Hello, Father.
Mr. Stobart, will this take long?
I'm not sure. Nave appears to be struggling with the machine.
I'll pray for some divine intervention then.
If you think that'll help.
The Lord is always listening, George.
Now that the machine is fixed, can we talk? You got any idea how I can be more like Henri?
You mean apart from being dead?
Well, ideally, yeah.
Monsieur Stobart, must I hold your hands at every turn? Figure it out, Mr. Insurance Assessor.
Can I just...
Go away!
I'd already fixed the machine.
Что ему еще
Can I
надо
ask
было?
you something else?
If you...
What does it do?
Your...
Anything else you...
The...
Okay. I decided to leave the plug in the socket. The machine had been fixed and I didn't want to stay longer than I had to. Moo was standing at attention waiting for Nave's orders. He wasn't going to speak to me. The poster looked old. I didn't need... Father Simeon was seeking the help of the Lord. It would have been rude to interrupt. There was no point making small talk. Father Simeon was seeking the help of the Lord. It would have been rude to interrupt. There was no point making small talk. The bust stared haughtily at me. I wondered who it was modeled on. I didn't want to... I had to hurry up and get out of there. That wouldn't work. That was almost a great... I needed a better idea. Now that the machine is fixed, can we talk? Can I just...
Go away!
Do I look like Henri yet?
Perhaps a little, but it could be a trick of the light.
Он сказал, игра света и тени. Свет падает.
The poster... Nico was standing right there. I didn't need to call her. Now that the machine is... I should go and look around for something of Henri's, right?
That, Monsieur Stubart, is by far the most intelligent thing you have uttered today.
Thanks.
Так, вещи Анры. Так. В дверь могу войти, ура, хоть туда могу.
The best place to find Henri's things was in his office. It was a statue of... On the head of the statue was a pair of Henri's glasses. Maybe, just maybe, the glasses would make me look like Henri. The CCTV camera watched over the gallery, though it no longer seemed to be recording. Some of the... there was certainly nothing of it. It was a hoop. The desk was... and none of it. The phone was vintage. The poster was for the 1975 Stockholm Summer of Love Festival. The 1600... It was a strategic... It was the pair of glasses I'd taken from Henri's statue. It was a bat... A naked lady. Henri's guitar. Poor man would never...
Так, ну может этого достаточно будет?
I've found Henri's glasses.
Stole or found? Never mind. That might just do it. Come on, everyone, into position. I want everyone to stand precisely where they were when the victim died.
Хоть движуха какая-то.
This process is ridiculous.
God moves in mysterious ways, Father.
Indeed. And the devil makes work for idle hands, Mr. Stobart.
Shh! Stobart, you are supposed to be dead. Please be dead more quietly.
I tried to tell Nave the truth about his bloodstain.
Didn't he believe you? You're a man of God.
His faith is in science, Mr. Stobart, not God.
Father?
Yes, my son.
You keep talking about the Gnostics. Who are they?
They are a cult. A warped branch of Christianity that reveres Lucifer as equal to, or perhaps greater than, God.
I can see how that might trouble the Vatican.
The Vatican is the least of your worries. Please be quiet!
Last time we met, you said the stolen painting was evil.
Let me explain. I'm a Dominican, Mr. Stobart. The Dominican order was founded to seek out and destroy heresy.
Why?
Because heresy is evil.
Okay.
For 1,000 years we have fought against heresy. Indeed, our enemies gave us a nickname, the Hounds of God. Dominicanis, Dominican, you see?
Very clever.
Now this painting, the Benedictio, is without doubt heretical.
Whoa, hold on. How can a painting be heretical?
Because it is filled with Gnostic imagery. And Gnostics are heretics.
What kind of imagery?
Evil imagery. The Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. Images of false saints, heretical saints.
So you think the painting itself is evil?
It trails murder in its wake, Mr. Stobart.
And murder is police work, monsieur. Silence, please, both of you.
The Ouroboros, what exactly is it?
It is a Gnostic symbol. It marks something that is hidden. There are trees illustrated within the Ouroboros. They symbolize knowledge. So the Ouroboros alludes to hidden knowledge. The painting must be destroyed to stop this knowledge being revealed.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first set of results completed. Only 36 more to do. Please remain in position while we reset the machine. You may relax and talk amongst yourselves.
Who are these false saints?
Gnostic saints, not beatified by the Church. They question orthodoxy, lure the unwary down dark paths of forbidden knowledge, and condemn innocent souls to the fires of damnation.
You mean like a Black Sabbath album? Do you think Inspector Nave will ever figure this out?
I'm not sure, although I'm no expert.
Yeah, neither is he by the looks of it. Do you think the machine will give the inspector some insight into Henri's murder?
He will find the answers he seeks, but he asks the wrong questions. This was no ordinary murder. Vade retro satana.
What's the matter?
It is worse than I thought.
What is it? It's just a sketch.
Not just a sketch. The painting.
I wonder if it was something I'd said.
I have to get out of here. Now.
Father Simeon, I forbid you to leave. This is an official investigation.
Don't you understand? A great evil is upon us. The painting is evil. The heretical Gnostics in league with the devil himself.
The devil?
Don't you understand? The tabula veritatis, the tablet of truth. It is real.
Well, well, someone is upset. Pressing your witnesses a little too hard, Inspector Neve?
And you are? This is official police business?
Richard Langham, Interpol, serious art theft. We spoke on the phone, Inspector?
Ah, yes, sir. Oh, you didn't say you would be attending my crime scene.
What exactly is this machine, Inspector?
A little invention of mine, Monsieur Langham. It will compute whose blood this is on the floor, and...
Not to worry, Inspector. Perhaps you could move aside? I'm intrigued to see what you're up to.
Ah, of course. It is rather groundbreaking.
Pizza box. It looks like your suspect was a Hawaiian, Inspector.
A Hawaiian? Mon Dieu! Mo! Get on to the Hawaiian embassy straight away. There is a surf killer on the loose. Alert the airports and the surf shops.
Sorry, Inspector. I mean, Hawaiian pizza. Your bloodstain is a pizza sauce.
Pizza? Mo! You fool! Forget the surf shops. Get on to the Italian embassy. This has mafia written all over it.
Nah, Inspector, if you don't mind, I'd like to speak to your witnesses. And in the meantime, perhaps you should try and get your priest back. Madame Collard, Mr. Stobart, I assume. Can I buy you chaps a coffee?
Langham sounded a little more on the ball. Maybe he'd bring a dose of common sense to the case.
So, Inspector Nave brought me up to speed and told me about you guys.
I can guess what he said. But what's your interest in the robbery?
I've been tracking a gang of art thieves for some time, and this looked like a good lead. But Nave is worse than useless. I was hoping you might be able to help.
We're flattered.
Just doing our jobs.
We all are, or at least trying to. So, maybe we can help each other. I gather you insured the exhibition.
That's right, and we're liable to lose a packet.
Any leads so far?
Maybe. There's a Russian Dovsky who turns out to be the owner of the painting.
Medovsky?
You know him?
Oligarch, oil, art, aluminium. Ex-KGB. Very nasty. You need to be careful. Medovsky's dangerous. He kills anyone who gets in his way.
For a cop, Langham seemed okay. Trouble with doing deals with cops, there's usually a payback down the line. But I figured that'd be a price worth paying to bring down Medovsky. We found evidence that links Medovsky to the company that installed the security at the gallery.
Interesting.
And one of his men, a guy called Shears, was in Paris on the day of the robbery.
Really?
We also found a letter from someone called Gainan wanting to buy the painting from Medovsky.
Gainan? The name rings a bell? Did you find anything else about him?
No, we were in a hurry.
What about the priest?
Ah, the good Father Simeon. Well, something spooked him, that's for sure.
So I gather.
He kept saying La Maledizio was evil.
Perhaps he's right. It certainly caused evil, hasn't it? I'll take leads from anyone, Mr. Stobart, even a crazy priest. Let's keep in touch. Thank you for your help. Coffee's on me, or rather, on Interpol. Miss Collard, Mr. Stobart.
So, George, what do you think?
Interesting. He seems to be on top of things.
I agree.
You know, Nico, this could start getting dangerous.
You think Langham's right about Medovsky?
Well, he appears to be on the ball.
I thought he was cute.
He was English, Nico. They're all cute to you.
Hidden depths, too.
Oh, yeah? What about my hidden depths?
You showed me those long ago, Georges. Well, I'm off home to write up the story so far. You?
I need to pay Bijou another visit. She's not been completely honest with me.
Идем к Бежу.
Bijou had told me she didn't have anything to do with the business. But Lane said the opposite. One of them was lying.
Так, ну все, ребят, будем на этом заканчиваться. Так, да, я вроде сохранил сохранение. Ага, Бежу. Вот, всем спасибо, кто смотрел, всем пока, удачи.